Hi, I'm Max Anceloni. Welcome to another lesson. What I want to share with you in this lesson is I'm just going to take a simple groove with 16 notes on the hi-hat with our hands alternating right, left, and just 1 and 3 on the bass drum, 2 and 4 on the snare. And what I want to share with you is a way to be able to improvise on the hi-hat with accents and ghost notes, to give the groove some movement, to give it some life. Because if you just play it straight, it's okay and it works for some things, but it sounds kind of square. And for some songs or some grooves it works, but it's to be able to add some spice to the hi-hat to give this groove some movement. So to add accents, ghost notes to this, while keeping the bass drum and snare steady. So you need to do two things to be able to improvise with different accents and ghost notes. The first step is to try every combination of accents and ghost notes on the hi-hat with both our hands, while keeping the bass drum and snare drum steady. And the reason for this is because you have to get your body physically used to, and also the brain used to, okay, this is where it lands, so you don't have to think about it after. So that when you're improvising, you could just hear something or feel something and you could perform it, and you're not going to get stuck technically, but independence, or you're not sure of where it lands. So there's these two steps. The first step is technical, the second step is just improvising and practicing improvising with these accents and ghost notes, whatever you feel and whatever you hear. If you can't have one without the other. If you just have the improvising part and you try to do it without doing the first step, you're going to get frustrated and you're going to get stuck. You're always going to make mistakes. And if you have the technical side down but you don't practice improvising, then you're just going to have the exercise down. It won't be musical. You won't be able to sit down at the kit and play musically what you feel and make the hi-hat and the groove come alive. So I'm going to show you the first steps to doing this. The first thing is just to explore the different sounds on the hi-hat that we could use. So on each hand there's just 4 different sounds that we're going to be using. Okay, so I'm going to just start with the right hand, and it's going to be the exact same thing for the left hand. The right hand, the first one is ghost notes, which we're going to play at the top of the hi-hat with the tip of the stick. Okay. Second one are accents, which we're going to play on the edge of the hi-hat with the shaft of the stick. Third one is we're going to do a combination of both. So we're going to play an accent first and then a ghost note. So on the edge and then the top. And the fourth one is we're going to start with the ghost note on the top and then play the accent second note on the edge. Okay, now you can see I'm playing with a certain motion in my hand, and I've explained this already in my Purdy Shuffle video. And also in my DVD, Improve Your Groove, I explain this in detail. If you haven't seen those, I'll just explain it to you quickly right now. So what it is let's say if we're doing edge, top, so what we're doing is we start on the edge, then when we come up to play the top, we're not actually making a separate stroke. What you're doing is you're lifting your arm like this, and at the same time you're lifting it from your elbow here. You're bending your wrist down, so it's going like this. So with the stick in your hand, like this. So edge. So just on the way up, you're hitting the top. If you want to check this out more in detail, check the Purdy Shuffle video or check out my Improve Your Groove DVD if you haven't already. Okay, so that's 4 different sounds that we have. Now we're going to do the exact same thing in the left hand. Okay, so before you go any further. If you don't have this down, just practice it and get comfortable with the motion and with the accents and get a very nice clean sound between the accents and the ghost notes. Okay, so now we're going to start with putting both hands together and playing 16 notes on the hi-hat, alternating, playing just the ghost notes. Okay, so both hands doing the same thing. Okay, now in the right hand, what we're going to do is we're going to do accent, edge. And in the left hand is going to say the same, playing just the ghost notes. So accent, edge, it means you're just playing on the downbeat and accent of every beat. Okay, so it's going to sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 4E and a... Okay? Now what we're going to do for the exercise, and we're going to keep doing this, is we started on the 1, so there's an accent on the 1. Now we're going to move the accent over a 16 note, so to the second 16 note of 1. So it's going to move over to the left hand. And what we're doing in the left hand is the exact same thing we did in the right hand. We're doing edge, top, accent, ghost note. Okay, so it's going to sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and... Okay? So now we're going to keep moving over a 16 note. So the next 16 note over is going to be on the and of 1. We did 1, then 1 E, now 1 E and. So it's going to fall on the right hand. We're going to do in the right hand top edge. So it's going to sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a... Okay, now we move it again, 116 note over. So it's going to land in the left hand. The exact same thing we did in the right hand. It's just a 16 note over. So it's going to land on the of 1. 1E and Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a... Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 notes. This exact same thing we did. We're going to add 2 notes. Before we move over to 2 notes, what you want to do is, with just the 1 note, is to be able to play it without stopping and repeating. I'll give you an example of it, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a... Okay, so get used to playing them all in a row like this. And you could experiment, first do it 4 bars each, then 2 bars each, then you could do 1 bar each. Okay, so now we're going to add 2 notes. So we're going to start again on the 1, but there's going to be 2 notes, so it's going to be 1 E and 1 E and so it's going to happen in your right hand and left hand, the accent. So it's going to sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a... Okay, so now we'll move these 2 notes over 116 note, so it's going to be 1 E and 1 E and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Move it over again a 16 notes, so it's going to be 1 E and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Move it over again, 1/16 note. So it's going to be 1E and the 2. 1E and the 2. 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the... So you keep moving the notes over till you move it over 4 times, because there's 4/16 notes in a bar. So you start on the 1, move it over, that's 2, move it over again, that's 3, move it over again, that's 4, and it's going to start back on the 1. So you do it 4 times. When you get comfortable with doing 2 notes, then you could start repeating as the same way that we did the 1 note. So like this: 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E. 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the... Okay, so now we could do 3 notes. So the exact same way. So 3 notes, we're going to start 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the... Move it over 1/16 note. 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the... Move it over 1/16 note again. 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the... Move it over 1/16 note again. 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the... Okay, so, and the next thing is 4 notes, which we already did. So there you have all the possibilities of both hands playing as combinations between the right and the left hand. Every rhythmic possibility in 16 notes that you could play on the hi-hat of ghost notes and accents. Okay, so again, now with the 3 notes, you do the same thing, the same exercise. So you repeat it all in a row. So once you have each one individually, 1 note, 2 notes, 3 notes, then you could start looping them, all 3 of them together. You start at 1 and you don't stop, you continue to 2, you don't stop, you continue to 3. So I'll just show you quickly what I mean. 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the... and so on. You get the drift, and you could just keep repeating that. Okay, so once you have this down now, what you could start doing now is improvising with just the hi-hat. So just start very simple and slowly, and just a good thing is to put a click on, because the tendency, especially when you're improvising, is to rush, to really push it. So put a click on and just improvise, starting very simply, 1 note at a time. And just play what it is you feel inside of notes that you hear accenting on the hi-hat. Okay, so I'll just give you an example of this just on the hi-hat, okay? Okay, so once you get comfortable with improvising just on the hi-hat. Now we can start adding the bass drum and the snare. So we're going to do the exact same exercises that we did, but just adding kick on 1 and 3, snare on 2 and 4. Okay, so starting from the beginning, so doing this just with the ghost notes. Okay, and then starting with adding 1 note in the right hand. Okay, then moving it over a 16 note, so going to the left hand. And so on and so on. So the only thing that's going to change here is, of course, yes, you're adding the bass drum on the 1, but in your right hand, you're going to be moving back and forth from the hi-hat to the snare on 2 and 4. So if you want to just practice this alone, you could just do the 4 sounds that I showed you. So starting with the ghost notes. So that's all that's going to change. Everything else stays the same. So just practice the 1 note, then the 2 notes, and the 3 notes in the same way as we did before, by adding the bass drum and the snare. And then, once you have that down and you're comfortable with it, then start improvising in the same way with the bass and snare. Start very simple, start adding notes, and then really start playing everything that you feel and hear. I'll give you an example of that. The improvising part, practice it a lot, and really practice to a point where you're very, very comfortable with anything you hear in your head. You could play the accents. And this I'm just using a specific, just using right, left, right, left. After that, if you want to add more stuff, you could add doubles in there doing the same thing. So instead of doing right, left, you could be doing this. We're doing the exact same thing, all the same sounds, except you're doing 2 16 notes, so the notes are faster and closer together. So you're going. I'll give you an example of this, playing it in the beat, okay, just improvising.